Hello friends, and welcome to a new video. If you're new here, my name is Jessie, I'm an artist and illustrator, and today I have a very exciting video for you. I'm so excited myself because I finished my sketchbook and I wanted to make the sketchbook tour as quickly as possible because, like I've said, I want to upload a video each month and I haven't done a video yet in February, and it's so fitting that I finished this sketchbook and I've been working on this since December. It took me 3 months to finish this, which is insane. It's not even fully 3 months because February is not over yet, but around 3 months. I haven't finished a sketchbook in this short time ever. And before we head into the sketchbook, I also want to say that this sketchbook is so meaningful to me. I'm going to talk about a lot of the sketches in here in detail and tell you why it's so special to me. And I think that this sketchbook has really taught me the importance of having a daily sketching habit and how I can grow with that. So it's very chunky, as you can see. So let's head into the sketchbook and look at all the sketches. So this is my sketchbook. It is, if you're interested what type of sketchbook this is a Royal Talents art creation sketchbook, and I really like it. As you can see, the pages get quite wobbly if you add water to it, like watercolors and gouache, but I did use a lot of watercolor and gouache, and I think I really like the paper texture and I really like the textures and kind of grain it creates with colors. You can see it later on in the sketchbook, but I say if you don't like the pages getting wobbly like this, then this is not a sketchbook for you. So as you can see, I also decorated the cover. I made a woodsy, foresty type of scene, and I also wrote adventure on here because when I started the sketchbook, or before I started the sketchbook, I was in a very rough phase with my art. I went into art block on and off, and yeah, it was really hard for me to actually sit down and create because I was so afraid to make mistakes. And yeah, I was basically afraid to make art, but that's a topic for another video, I think. But I decided I need to change something, and so I started the sketchbook and I wrote down adventure to have this kind of like my adventure sketchbook. So let's open this up. On here is just my contact information, and here is the date when I started the sketchbook. This was the 30th of November. By the way, today is the 25th of February. I didn't even mention this. So, like I said, it took me about 3 months to finish this, and this was the first drawing that I did. And this is a fantasy self-portrait of me, and this is a fantasy self-portrait, basically. And after I did this, also I don't paint or draw on these pages because these are glued together and I hate that they are not laying flat. So, and after I made this drawing, I realized that I don't know if this is what I want to do. I want to explore and not be so uptight with my drawings. So I made an ink sketch on the 1st of December. Also, this one was done on the 1st of December. And this one, because on this day I decided I want to sketch every day in December. I want to do something creative every day in December. And so I started making these pages where I made some tiny little doodles, and here I got the Caran d'Ache Neocolor 2s, and I really like these. I still use them a lot, and yeah, I really like them. You can see a few things that I did in the sketchbook with those, and yeah. On the 3rd of December, you can see the date here as well, I made an ink drawing of a tree, and then I did the same thing as with Neocolor 2s. And then I did my first painting in the sketchbook. After just a few pages, I was so afraid to paint, but I sat down and I created this painting in about 2 hours, and I was so proud of myself. I can remember that I was like, I didn't trust myself that I would be able to create something like this. And even though there are so many things that I would change about this, I still look at this and think that I did a great job. Like I still like the vibe of it. But I also have to say that at the beginning of the sketchbook, it kind of feels a lot more children's book illustrator like, because I thought that I want to be a children's book illustrator one day maybe, or work towards that. But right now I'm not sure if I want to go in that direction, but that's why a lot of those illustrations are going more into that direction, if you were wondering. Then we have a few character design, a few character explorations of a Yule goat. And then I painted a Yule goat of how I would imagine her, but I wasn't really happy with it. And so I made a few more explorations and a few more explorations. And then I created this one, which is more like a Black Phillip type of Yule goat. But I really like this. And then here I explored with watercolor and neo colors underneath, and I really like the texture. Yeah. Then I also use my sketchbook to make thumbnails of upcoming ideas or paintings that I have in mind. So yeah, I created this painting as well in here. And I remember I did this on the train. Just a few cats. So here I made a bunch of, first of all, those are all thumbnails for, painting ideas that I had for Christmas cards that I wanted to give my family. And this is actually one that ended up happening. You can see it, it's also in the sketchbook. And then I made a bunch of explorations of how I would write adventure, because at that time I was designing the cover of the sketchbook. And then there's the painting that I was talking about. This ended up being a Christmas card. And here I just wrote Frohe Weihnachten, which means Merry Christmas in German. And I also made a few explorations, like 2. Yeah, this day I really didn't want to sketch at all, and you can see it. And yeah, here is a sketch or a planning of a painting that I gave to my sister on Christmas. She wanted a beach, basically, and that's what I created. Here were more sketches of how I want to draw or paint the beach. This was done in A3, so this was a big painting. I've never done a big painting traditionally like that before, but at this time I was really ambitious. And then because I was working on this big painting, the next pages are going to be really lazy, but I was also working on this big painting, so that's why I didn't work so much in the sketchbook, but I tried to make like little sketches of figures and outfits that I had in mind. Also, this is like basically my winter outfit. I call this my caterpillar coat, but it keeps me warm. And here I tried sketching my outfits each day of the week, but I only went until Tuesday, and I left this page because I wanted to continue, but I guess I never came back to it. And here I made or planned my annual Krampus illustration. This is just a pencil sketch, and this was done in new color too. This was a plein air situation. I pre-painted and I pre-painted the pages with some neo colors with water and some watercolor, and then I went outside with my colored pencils and sketched the park near me. And here are more Krampus exploration. This ended up being posted on my Instagram. And yeah, a few more faces. And here I prepared a few boxes for me to fill in on my trip to my hometown for Christmas, but I never ended up filling those in because, yeah, I kind of didn't like the idea then when I started. So here's a cat character that I like the idea of having this type of head. And yeah, a few houses, which I don't really like. And here, it was coming closer to Christmas. I forgot to write the date on every page that is following, probably. This is a town that is near my hometown. It's called Quedlinburg. And yeah, also some pattern explorations, a Christmas tree, more Christmas illustrations. Oh, here I wrote the date, 26th of December. Yeah. And then I tried, I think this is when we went back home, and I missed painting. So the first thing that I did when I was back at home was painting. And I think they turned out nice, but it's not something that I would do anymore. I also don't like the colors. I'm not a big fan of blue in general, and blue and yellow together. It's just not my thing. I wouldn't do this like this anymore. This is something that I did, I think, on the go as well. I don't know. I did this on the train, I think. I'm not sure. Yeah, but it's also not too pretty. Yeah, a little character that I had in my mind. And These are thumbnail sketches for a painting that I wanted to create for New Year's Eve. And this is I'm going to put the finished painting on here as well. And yeah, also I don't think it's the best thing that I ever created, but I did it, and yeah. This was probably me not really wanting to do something that day. Here's another planning sketch of this illustration. Also did some color swatches. Those are supposed to be snowflakes. Yeah, but it didn't work the way that I wanted it. I think some people that I found on Instagram, not Instagram, Pinterest. This was, I started painting Satie Hester. I think Satie Hester or Sandy Hester, but I'm going to link every artist that I'm going to mention. I'm going to link it below. I watched a video of her and I thought she would look so beautiful, and so I tried painting her, but I never ended up finishing it. This one is Nosferatu fan art, basically. And here I bought the Caran d'Ache gouache, which I still like and use a lot. And then I made a bunch of color swatches because I was so unsure about how to use color and what to use, because I was creating mostly monochromatic art, and I did a bunch of color exploration, as you can see, and mixed every color that I could possibly think of, and more Nosferatu art. I really like the way her eyes turned out. I think it looks kind of creepy, but yeah. On this day, I wasn't really feeling it, so I came up with this: turn those dark and heavy clouds into free, colorful birds, because I always think about birds. They're free to fly wherever they want to, so I was thinking of this, and I don't really like the execution, but the idea is kind of okay, I guess. Oh, my sketchbook is breaking in the middle. So it was about time that I finished this one. So this is like a winter illustration. I also wanted to make a bigger painting of this, but then I was so over winter and I didn't want to make any more winter art, so yeah. And then I went into a different style, which is a lot more, I don't know, I don't want to say tight, but that's like the feeling that I get when I paint like this. It's like really, it's not so free and loose like this, it's like more controlled. Also this character, so after I made these few sketches, I needed to let loose and make some color blobs. Also on this side is a sketch of a Sacred Heart, which I never finished. And then I decided I want to paint houses, so I did this, and this is the first one. This is the next one. I also posted this on Instagram. And I went outside again, and I kind of fucked up with those metal constructions, which you can't really see, but it was fun. I had a great time. I also met a stranger that was telling me that she also wants to paint outside, but she's too afraid. And I told her, just do it. I'm afraid as well. And that she was so happy, which was a nice moment, which made me remember to go out more. Yeah, another house. I really like this one. I really like the aesthetic. It's so wobbly and wrong, but I also like it. That's my favorite mug. And then I made this, inspired by Hannah Flanagan's art. And yeah, I really like the texture. Yeah. And then I feel like I'm starting my sentences the same way, but I don't know what to say. So those are some explorations of how I could draw trees or paint trees. Yeah. Here I was really, really sick. I was not feeling well, but I tried to make art anyway because I didn't want to lose my everyday creating streak. So I made a few patterns, gingham and that stuff. And here is another painting that I did. And this is, if you can see the texture that I mean, which the Caran d'Ache gouache creates with this type of paper. It looks so grainy and nice. And this is a painting that I really liked, and I still like the colors, I like the feeling, but it's really like children's book type of illustration, and I don't know if I would do it anymore like this, but it's a nice exploration, and I'm happy with everything that I can explore. Here I watched a video by Satie Hester about color mixing and mixing blacks and darks. And so I did this, followed her video, and then I tried making this painting, but I don't like the colors at all. This didn't turn out great. And here I started going back to, or actually for the first time starting really working on my gesture, sketches, drawings, and I was really bad at this time. And by the way, I'm using line of action. If you're interested in doing this as well, I'm using line of action. And each of those were 30 seconds. They were also 30 seconds. Here is another 30 seconds one, and then it was 1 minute. Then 2 more 1 minutes, and then 5 minutes. Oh, more 5 minutes, and that's it. Here's another wintry kind of painting when it's slowly fading into warmer and brighter days, but still very cold. But that was my feeling with this one. Here's another witchy character. And here I wanted to create a piece for my portfolio, which should have been a book cover, but I never did this, so it never happened. I'm sorry, but these are some thumbnail sketches, and I ended up making this. I worked almost 2 weeks on this painting. It took me over 15 hours, and this is way too long. I want to become quicker, and I'm thinking of making an updated art goals video because I think I have a clearer vision now on what I want to work on, and you can see by the end of the sketchbook that I'm actually already starting to work on the goals. So yeah, because I was working on this huge painting, which took me so long, I made only like quick sketches to have something to post on Instagram, which is the completely wrong way, I know. But I didn't know how to work around this problem, and I still don't know. If you have any tips on how I can overcome this, if I don't have something new to post, and I just don't want to make rubbish art. But I like this. I don't like this. This was also done just because I had to post something on Instagram. Yeah. Then I wanted to paint a fortress or a castle, and I wanted to be very loose and just try out shapes. And yeah. Then I also wanted to make a loose painting of a Sacred Heart buried in the ground with veins, and I still like the idea. I just don't like the execution, but that's okay. This was a fun moment. I really like this, and that's what my sketchbook's for, having fun. And then we're starting to go more into the direction that I want to go in, because that's actually like the art that I want to create. And if you look on my Instagram account, that's kind of like what I created before I went more into the children's book illustration route. And yeah, I really enjoyed this page. It was so much fun. And because it was so much fun, I was so ambitious, and I tried painting a witch on a moon, sending out those rays of light and thunder, whatever. And I fucked up her eye. As you can see, that's not how I wanted her face to look like. And when I was drawing this, I realized I don't even know how I want my characters to look like. I don't know how I want to draw the faces. I don't know how I want to draw the bodies. So I had a bigger realization when I did this, which helped me then later on, which you can see. But I also made this one, which I also like. Yeah. And then I had the realization, like I've said, I don't know how I want to draw bodies. So I took a class. I don't know which class this was, but I'm going to link everything down below. A YouTube class by someone, and I started learning basic anatomy and started learning how to draw the body. And I'm still doing this. I'm still in the process. I kind of know I've already done this in the past, but it's been so long, and I've never really been someone that liked to study anatomy or art fundamentals. But right now I'm really ambitious, and I'm really excited to do this and to get better at art. So yeah, I'm going to use my motivation and study as much as I can do. This was from a tutorial of Mark Bernay. I hope that's how his name is pronounced. Like I said, I'm going to link everyone down below. And here are few more gesture sketches, and still those are pretty shitty, as you can see. But as I've made those rough skeletons of humans, I've had a little bit more of an understanding of the body. And so even though these are still shitty, I still think they're a lot better than how I started out. For example, the way that I found the rib cage and everything. Yeah, these were also all 30 seconds, like these ones. And then more 30 seconds, and then it starts with 1 minute. And yeah, I feel like it looks a lot more like a human body now. But still shitty, like. Yeah, 1 minute, 1 minute as well. More 1 minute. This is 5 minutes. And I don't like my line quality. I really need to work on my lines and how I shade, but I think I captured the model. And this was also 5 minutes, and I really like this, although I don't like my lines, but I think I captured the model and the essence of the pose quite nicely. So continuing, I tried figuring out how I want to draw faces. As you can see, I'm all over the place and I just do whatever I want. And although this is kind of how I want to draw faces, it's not at all how I want to draw faces. It's like a really weird combination of liking it but also hating it. And there needs to happen a lot more exploration. And here I drew a lot of lanterns because I just started a new illustration where a lantern plays a role, and I wanted to explore some lanterns that I could find online before designing my own. I don't know if the illustration is still going to happen because there are so many things on my mind right now, and I'd rather focus my time right now on practicing. But I don't know. Maybe it's going to happen. Anyway, here I also made a reel on this. I went outside and sketched outside. I try to go now each week on an art stroll, take my sketchbook with me and just explore what I can see outside. And I just like looking really, really closely at the things around me and try to capture all of the details and texture, because that's just something that fascinates me somehow. And yeah. And here I watched a video by Sarah Artminer on how to draw faster, because that's now a goal of mine, to become faster, to make more art in a shorter time, because I have very limited time. Like I said, I work full-time. I want to have more time, or I want to use my time more wisely, create more, learn more, and therefore I need to draw faster, paint faster, and that's what I'm currently trying to learn, as well as figure drawing as well. Those were all, I think, 60 seconds, because I realized I'm not able to finish a body in 30 seconds. So I'm still not able to finish a whole body in 60 seconds, but as you can see, those are again a lot quicker. I did these yesterday. And more. This was also 60 seconds. The rest was 90 seconds. And it's getting better. Like, I have a better understanding of the body already after just a few sketches. And more practicing. Those were also 90 minutes. And as you can see, like, it's still not proportionally correct everything, but I'm getting better, and I'm so happy seeing my growth and seeing my development. Although it's not the most beautiful art, it's just that I know where I want to go, and I'm just taking, yeah. And those I did this morning. Yeah, those were all done in 60 seconds. And more 60 seconds. I like this one. I think I captured the pose quite nicely. And yeah, that's it. That's my sketchbook. As you can see, I've done quite a journey throughout the sketchbook. I've tried so many different things and ended up doing something completely different than at the beginning at what I thought I would do. Like from paintings like this or like this to this. I didn't think about how I want to phrase this outro and this conclusion basically of my sketchbook, so I think it's going to be a wild ride because there's so many things in my mind and I don't know if I can transport them in the right way and if you can understand what I'm saying. But I think the big conclusion of the sketchbook that I'm having is a topic for a different video, but I'm just going to say this. Most of the sketchbook is filled with art that I don't actually want to make. because I was too afraid to make the art that I actually want to make. I don't know if this makes sense, but I don't know if other artists are suffering from this, but like I said, I'm really anxious about my art, about making mistakes, about not being perfect. And I don't know where this stems from, but I'm actively working against this. And I finished the sketchbook with only making ballpoint sketches and ink sketches, which is a huge step forward. And everything else that I painted in here were things that could have been bad because I didn't care about them. And the art that I actually care about, I wasn't making because I was too afraid. And now at the end of the sketchbook, it took me almost 3 months and a whole sketchbook to finally start working on the art that I actually want to create. There's so many stories in my mind and so many ideas of characters and scenarios that I want to illustrate and make them come to life. But there's basically a lack of skill. And I think that this is somewhere in me because I used to make a lot of character illustrations. I create so many illustrations and drawings that I don't actually want to create because I didn't want to confront myself with the fact that I need to sit down and practice. I need to practice anatomy, I need to practice bodies, I need to practice things in order for me to create my own artistic voice. And so I was basically copying like children's book illustrations and everything else that I was seeing online and trying to come up with something that I liked. And the thing is, around 2018, 2019, and even I think 2020, I'm not sure anymore, but I think also in that time, I was so confident in my art. I had a very distinctive style, I think, but somewhere along the way I lost that because there was so much stress in my life going on. And so I kind of lost this. I'm not mad at this. I think that's life. Things happen and you fall off track and you don't know where you're going. You're having a crisis, an identity crisis, and I've had my fair share of identity crisis. And I think I'm kind of in one, but this time I have the key to unlock the secrets. Basically, I know what I need to do. I just need to do it now, which is going to be hard. And I know there are going to be times when I'm going to hate myself for not having done this earlier, but I think it's the right way to go. I think, yeah, that's the end of the video, and I hope you like this. If you want to see more of my content, if you want to see me decorate my new sketchbook and start my new sketchbook, then subscribe to this channel and like this video and leave me a comment. Maybe on what I should do on the first pages of my sketchbook, and then we can do this together. So yeah, thank you so much for watching until this point. I think I've had so much to say and I need to drink a glass of water and calm down because I've talked way too much. But thank you so much for watching and I will see you in the next one. Bye guys.